It is where our neighbors, friends, and family gather to attain the resources that we need to thrive. Likewise, the Chicanx Latinx Student Success Center, or Centro, works towards creating this point of reunion or one-stop shop for students and other community members to attain the resources they need to succeed at SJSU. Today, we want to honor and celebrate our cultura, comunidad, and contribuciones that our Chicanx Latinx community has given to the world. Now, before we continue, you know how sometimes you have to barrer before you invite la visita or you welcome la visita? Well, likewise, we'd like to do some housekeeping. For all of our faculty and staff today, we'd like to ask you to add faculty or staff in front of your name. Right at the right-hand corner of your video, you can find the ellipses where you can click and rename yourself. So just add faculty or staff in front of your name. For everyone here, we'd like to ask you to please keep your microphones on mute until instructed to unmute. And if you like and feel comfortable to enable your video, queremos ver a todos, we'd like to see you. And for everyone who wants to share or comment, the chat box is open for any questions. And without further ado, vamos a empezar. So my name is Yesenia Guzman. Pronouns are she, her, hers. I am a third-year business marketing major and one of your student success leaders. I began this role a year ago, so this is my second year here, and I will be one of your MCs for today.
Hey everybody, ¿qué onda? For those that had seen the announcement, my name is Nicholas Jimenez, and I am also your student success leader. Pronouns are he, him, his. I am a current senior here at San Jose State. My major is industrial design. Some little fun fact about me, I designed a local Snapchat geo filter in 2016, still in circulation, and I'm excited to get to meet every single one of you.
Hi everyone, my name is Ashley Guerrero. I am one of your student success leaders, and I'm also going to be co-hosting. I'm currently in my third year, and I'm majoring in political science with a minor in public administration. And fun fact about me, I don't know, I really like cats. I don't know, I have cat socks right now.
Hello everyone, muchas gracias por estar con nosotros. My name is Evan Sanchez Ochoa. My pronouns are he, him, his. I am currently a third-year biomedical engineering student. My microphone works? Yeah. Sorry. And then Spanish minor, and fun fact about me is I'm an Aquarius.
Last but not least, hi everybody. My name is Steven Gallaga, pronouns he, him, él. I am a second-year transfer student majoring in aerospace engineering. This is my first semester as a student success leader. I'm ready to help everybody and help students who need resources. And a fun fact about me is that I used to play semi-professional football.
All right, so now that y'all have gotten to know a little bit about us, I'm going to go over today's program agenda. So we started off with introductions, and we will continue on with a land acknowledgement. After that, we will begin with the university welcome, followed by an overview of Centro, then Centro staff introductions, an activity, a student and faculty panel, entertainment, community building, breakout rooms, and to close off, staying connected to Centro.
And like Yesenia had mentioned, we want to first start off with land acknowledgements. We would like to begin by acknowledging that San Jose State sits on the traditional and unceded territory of Damian Ohlone, direct ancestors of Moecma Ohlone people. Descendants of the Moecma Ohlone were taken to Mission Dolores, Santa Clara, and San Jose during Spanish colonization of the Central Coast. We remember their continued connection to this region and give thanks to them for allowing us to live, work, learn, and pray on their traditional homeland. Thank you.
Now, we'd like to give a warm welcome to Doctora Magdalena Barrera, who is our interim vice provost for faculty success at San Jose State University. She has led programming at San Jose State as well as for other universities and national organizations to help students bolster their academic resilience and junior faculty navigate pathways to tenure. A first-generation scholar, she has a bachelor's degree in English and Latin American Studies from the University of Chicago and a PhD in Modern Thought and Literature from Stanford University. Prior to serving in the office of the provost, Dr. Barrera was professor and department chair of Chicana and Chicano Studies, where she taught courses in Chicanx history, literature, film, families, and comparative ethnic studies. She also is a former faculty fellow at Centro.
Okay, thanks. I just realized I think I forgot to unmute my mic. Hold on. Okay, now I can share my screen. First of all, I'm super excited to be here. Thank you for this invitation to be with you today. Okay. Okay, so I'm super honored to give this Bienvenida. I want to welcome all new students, faculty, and staff to San Jose State University. Again, my name is Magdalena Barrera. I'm professor of Chicano Studies, and I'm in a new role this year. It's called Interim Vice Provost for Faculty Success. It's in the Office of the Provost. Now, if you're a student, don't worry if you don't know what that means, because I don't think I would have understood. Basically, there's the president of the university running everything. There's half of the school is divided into academic affairs. It's like all the departments, all the majors. That's run by someone called the provost. And then there's me, supporting faculty who are doing that work. So basically, for our Latinx community, I'm la mera peleonera, taking the good fight, taking our community to the administration. So I want to begin by sharing, first of all, again, just a welcome to our community. The Chicanx Latinx Student Success Center is such an amazing community of support on campus. And being a part of this community is really important because I have found it to be a really important touchstone for my experience here at SJSU. And I know many of my colleagues, staff, and students feel the same way. It's really been for us a place to get connected to other people, to meet new folks, develop the relationships that we need in order to do the hard work that we're here to do at the university. None of us can do our work alone, right? We have long-term goals and visions for ourselves, for our families, for our communities, and we have to pull together our resources, our knowledge, and our skills to be able to meet those goals. So being part of this community has really, I think, continued my education as a professor. You know, when I was a student, I used to think that professors were kind of done with their education, that they must know it all because they're at the front of the room giving the lessons. But the reality is, even faculty and professionals at the university have so much to learn, and it's really by interacting with students, what you share about your lives with us, that help us do our job better and help make the university respond to your needs and keep it on the up and up. So it's really been such a tremendous part of my experience, and I really hope that all of you will continue to get involved. Now, this Bienvenida is a formal kickoff to Latinx Heritage Month for us at San Jose State. Now, many of you may be familiar with this. It's basically runs from September 15th to October 15th. It's a month that honors all the days that Mexico and Centro America gained independence from Spain. So this includes El Salvador, Nicaragua, Guatemala, Honduras, all celebrate Independence Days on September 15th. Mexico is on September 16th, as many of you may know. And so that's why this particular month was chosen. Now, you may hear Latinx Heritage Month and want to say, well, wait a minute, don't you mean Hispanic Heritage Month? Because that's what a lot of people tend to call it. So again, like, I'm in this new role in the provost office. I'm not teaching any of my usual classes. So I was super excited to give this little mini lecture. Everyone take out your pens and notebooks. You got to write this information down. Okay, so When we use the term Hispanic, that's a term that's really rooted in focusing on language. So Hispanic could mean someone with roots in a country where Spanish is the primary language. Now, Latina or Latino, by contrast, is a term that refers to geography, meaning someone with roots in different countries of Latino America. And a lot of us prefer to use Latino over Hispanic because many of us come from families and communities where Spanish maybe is not the primary language, right? Some folks speak indigenous dialects such as Quechua and Mayan. They maybe speak other European languages like Portuguese and French, right? That are all rooted in the colonization of this particular part of the world. Now, Latinx, as many of you may know, is a term that we prefer to use over both of those, better than Hispanic and better than Latina or Latino, because Latinx is an inclusive term that recognizes and celebrates the identities of non-binary, gender non-conforming, and gender expansive people in our families and communities. Now, some folks might say, well, hey, this is new and I never heard about this before, but the reality is that non-binary folks have always existed throughout history, throughout all of our communities, and this is a way to finally give them the recognition of their identities and that they're an important part of who our community is overall. Now, Latinx Heritage Month is, right, September 15th, October 15th, but the reality, as we know, is that every month needs to be Latinx Heritage Month because we are the people who keep this country going. We basically do all the jobs that need to get done. We have shaped the past of this country. We are shaping it now, and we will continue to shape it for generations to come. So there isn't a part of the US where we don't have a presence, where we're not making our voices heard, where we're not making strides for our community. And you being here at San Jose State is a really beautiful and important part of this ongoing story of our history here in the US. Now, I want to take a moment to give a shout out to my own Latinx heroes, who include my grandparents, who were all born in Mexico. My grandfathers were traqueros, i.e. young men recruited to come work on railroads in the United States in the early 1920s. My grandmothers were factory workers in the Midwest. My family is originally from Chicago because there's Mexicans outside of California. Okay, so that's news to you. You're ready to learn something at San Jose State. Now, my mom and dad were the first in their generation to earn high school degrees. And so the reason why I want to share this and the reason why they're my heroes is because my own educational journey was shaped long before I was born by their experiences, right? They never had the chance to go on to college. And so there was a lot of pressure on me as being a first generation student, like I know many of you are, to pave that path. Now, they gave me a lot of strength and knowledge to do that, but it was hard for me at first in college. So I want to share with you that I had two keys to my academic success. One was connecting through community. So again, like many of you, I was the first in my family to go to college. I had no idea what was in store. This is me on my high school graduation day with my favorite English teacher in high school. I thought I was a big know-it-all. I was like, yeah, I'm the best at Bolingbrook High School, and now I'm going to go to college. I got to University of Chicago and realized with getting my first papers back that I was getting C's and D's and not getting the A's that I was used to getting in high school. It really threw me off. So what helped was connecting with lots of other Latinx students on campus. They were my go-tos because a lot of them were also first gen, and we just shared our struggles and got each other through. Also, my key, I got involved in research. The guy in red is Professor Curtis Mares. He was my academic mentor. And it was because of their support and having this community that I was able to earn my bachelor's degree in English and Latin American Studies in 1997. I went on to get a PhD from Stanford and then became a professor here in 2008. So the second key to my success was learning about my heritage. So I want to urge you to please learn more about and embrace your Latinx heritage. There's so many books, articles available out there, and sometimes we drag our feet to the reading that's assigned, but when it's meaningful and when it speaks to your and your family's experience, it makes you want to turn another page, get another book, like you just want to absorb it like a sponge. So I got this image to show you a before and after Latin American studies. Like I went to college being pretty like middle of the road, And then Latin American studies, Chicano studies totally radicalized me. I was like in it to win it, on the streets, like ready to brawl for my people. So I want to say you're going to have a lot of resources coming your way through both your classes and through Centro. Centro's working on adding a section to the website with relevant readings in these areas. You can reach out to faculty in Chicano Studies and take a class with us. So make that a part of your story here. And again, I want to give a plug to my home department, Chicano Studies. It's a great place to begin exploring these themes. We have classes on everything from history, from pre-Columbian times to the present, Chicano literature, film, families, Chicanos in the criminal justice system, the story of Chicano Spanish, you name it, we offer it to you. So whatever major you're in, there's a Chicano Studies class that can fit your interest. And I know a lot of students often say, well, what exactly do I do with Chicano Studies? Maybe I want to major, but what does that mean? What kind of job am I going to get? And I challenge you to name a single profession or career path where you are not going to need to know our history, our culture, our strengths to help you do a good with the communities that you're out there to serve. So don't even ask that question, just take the classes and the rest will all come into place. So I just want to say my real message to you is just please get connected while you're here with the community, with a meaningful class, get involved at Centro, whether it's just becoming more familiar with the programming that's offered, making it a goal to attend a couple of events each semester, connecting with the faculty who are really excited to meet you and offer their office hours. You know, please make this a core part of your experience while you're at SJSU. I promise you, you will not regret it. And that's all I have to say, so thank you.
So I'd just like to take the time to thank Magdalena Barrera for sharing her story and also congratulate her for her new role as provost for interim of faculty success. It's so like, it's not often we see like women like her in positions like this. So like, congratulations on your new role. And then also to continue with the presentation, we wanted to do a Centro overview. So many times people assume or think the Centro is like a club or like an organization, but it really isn't. It's a department aiming to like for students to graduate and like continue their education. So through conocimiento, or as we call, or like getting to know each other, cariño, care, and confianza, trust, Centro is a culturally connected community of students, staff, and faculty committed to Latinx student success at San Jose State University. Informed and inspired by many cultural strengths of Latinx community, Centro offers programming and support services that are designed to enhance Latinx student success. As a result, Centro offers spaces that validate students' intersecting identities, affirm their academic capabilities, develop their leadership skills, and foster healthy and positive relationships while promoting civic engagement.
Before I start, can I get a sound check? Can someone give me a thumbs up? Can you hear me? Am I good? Okay, thank you. Sorry about the technical difficulties before. But yeah, here at Centro, we do offer different services, events, and programs. One service that we do offer here at Centro is academic drop-in advising. And this is thanks to the many different Centro liaisons that we have. And later in this presentation, you will be introduced to a lot of them. Amazing faculty, and without them, we wouldn't be able to have virtual drop-in hours. We also have different partners. So we do have faculty office hours, career advising drop-in hours. We have a CAPS liaison for CAPS counseling support. And then we also do partner up with peer mentoring. For different events that the Centro offers, we do have a meet and greet Latinx organizations, academic resilience series, partnering up with Mosaic. We have the Latinx open mic night, the student and faculty connections, and then again, partnering with the Mosaic Center, we do host a Loteria night, And to be able to get all the times and dates for all these different events, please make sure that you're connected through social media and through our Latinx Center calendar. And then for programs, we have programs that vary from single days to year long. So for example, we have the Student Leadership Retreat, which is a 2-day program. We have the Adelante program, which is, I'm very happy to be a part of that and starting that up this year. It is a full year-long program. We have the Latinx alumni panels, and then we have different workshops that center around wellness and mental health. And then from the Centro staff, we created this video to introduce you. So, bienvenidos a nuestro mercado. Elisa, if you want, I can play it if you need me to. Okay.
All right, I'm not. Let's see. All right, I think people were able to hear, so continue. Let's go.
All right, we want to thank Yesenia for creating that video of us. So that includes our Centro staff, and we actually also want to name a few of our campus partners that we rely on heavily for their support. So here we have Ana Lopez, she's peer mentor for Adelante, and Itze Busarello. They're both here with us through Peer Connections. And then some of our academic advisor liaisons include Saul Rios. He's an academic advisor with the Lurie College of Education Student Success Center. Priscilla Brambilla, she's academic advisor with the Access College of Social Sciences Student Success Center. Stephanie Garcia, academic advisor with the Humanities and the Arts Student Success Center. Dr. Francisco Castillo, he's director of the Lucas College of Business Jack Holland Student Success Center. Hugo Mora Torres, academic advisor with the Health and Human Sciences Student Success Center. Jesus Santos, Academic Advisor with Engineering Student Success Center. And then we have our lovely Celinda Miranda. She's Case Manager and Counselor Faculty with the Counseling and Psychological Services, also known as CAPS. And our amazing Sandra De Leon. She's Career Counselor with the Career Center. And we also have, as you guys saw, Dr. Magdalena Barrera. She's Interim Vice Provost for Faculty Success. Dr. Rebecca Burciaga, Professor with the Chicano and Chicana Studies. Dr. Marcos Pizarro, he's Associate Dean with the College of Education and Chicana Studies. And Dr. Luis Bosa, he's Professor in the College of Education. Last but not least, we also have Dr. Jonathan Gomez, Professor in the Chicano and Chicana Studies. Dr. Erica Colmenares, Professor with Liberal Studies. And Dr. Carolina Prado, Professor with Environmental Studies. Thank you.
Hello, everyone, again. So right now we're going to do a little activity just so we are able to hear from you and so you're able to voice your opinions. Sorry, my voice cracked. So right now, Lily is going to go ahead and share a Google form so that you are able to fill out these questions. If you are a student, the question is, I wish my professors knew. And if you're a faculty and staff, the question is, I wish my students knew. So please feel free to take time right now to answer these questions. These questions are, the answers to these questions will be anonymous. However, they will be shared at a faculty meeting in October. And also they'll be shared through social media. So you will have from a little moment right now to fill it out, but it will stay open until the end of this session.
All right, everyone. Hi, my name is Elisa Aquino. My pronouns are she, her, hers, and I am the program coordinator at the Chicanx Latinx Student Success Center. And today we're going to have a student and faculty panel, and we're going to have 3 students as well as 1 faculty member. We have Steven Gallaga, pronouns he, him, él. He's an undergraduate student in engineering. We have Brenda Vargas Tapia, pronouns she, her, hers. She's an undergraduate student majoring in political science with a minor in Chicana and Chicano studies. We also have Joey Medina, pronouns he, him, his, and he is a graduate student in his 2nd year in his program. And Dr. Marcos Pizarro, pronouns he, him, and Dr. Marcos Pizarro is also the Associate Dean of the Lowry College of Education. So we're going to start off with a few questions for our panelists. The first one is going to be directed to Marcos. So if you don't mind sharing, what advice do you have for students as they engage in online learning this year? And afterwards, I will follow up with what advice do you have for faculty and staff wanting to support and develop deeper connections with Latinx students?
Cool. Thank you, Elisa. What's up, everybody? How are you? You can give me like thumbs up or like a little something, you know, like, yeah, okay. It's good to see you all. I miss you. And it's okay if your thumb is kind of like sideways or even down. That's, you know, it happens, right? We like to know where you're at so we can give you virtual abrazos if you need it. So yeah, for the question, you know, what to do to just be successful in this online format, it's, you know, it's a tough one. And to be honest with you, I'm sure I would be like the worst student in this context, but I'm going to give you advice anyway. You know, I think the one thing that you can do is like, if you're in a format like this, right, where we're meeting in class and it's synchronous, it's, you know, happening and there's a professor teaching like I'm doing right now, have your camera on if you can, you know, and I know that that can be hard. Like I know some students have been like meeting in class in their car, because that's the noise-free space, right? And that it's tough, but it makes a big difference to us. Like if I'm doing this right now I can see like 25 people right now on my screen, right? So I can get a sense of where people are at. It's really helpful to me in terms of teaching to see your faces, right? And so then do this, have body language, right? Smile, or like, oh, okay. And I tell my students, okay, like if you go like this, that's really helpful to me, right? Then I know like I'm not making any sense. Then I can say, hey, Erica, what do you think? Like, what's going on? Like, what am I saying, right? So try your best to just be engaged in that way. It makes a huge difference to us. And to be honest, like if I'm in class and I'm like evaluating your papers and I've seen, you know, that Mike is somebody who's like always engaged, always present, like nodding, like giving me good body language, it makes a difference, right? In how I think about him as a student in terms of his engagement. It's going to affect his grade in a positive way, right? So that's just like a simple little cheat. It's not a cheat, but you know, it's like what to do. The other thing is ask questions and answer questions, right? I guarantee you, if you ask a question, I always see this because when students will like not ask and then somebody asks a question and I say, how many other people have this question? Then like at least 3 or 4 hands go up. Oftentimes a lot more hands go up. You're not the only one. You're doing your other students a favor, you know, by just asking that question. And then the other thing is answer questions. How many of us have been in Zoom where a professor asked a question and no one answered, right? And then they just like move on to the next thing because no one's answering. Oh, you know, it's a killer for us. We want to hear your thoughts. We want to know. So try your best to answer a question. And even if you're not totally confident, it's a way for you to build your skill set. The next thing that I think about is go to office hours. And I already told you, I would never do this, right? Like I didn't go to office hours for like maybe the first 2 years of college. And that was because I was a knucklehead and because I did, you know, like I was scared. But once I started going to office hours, it made a huge difference. It makes a difference for us. Like we want to see you go to office hours and ask a question. And it could just be like, how did you get so interested in political science, right? If I'm Brenda and I'm going to one of my political science professors. It could be just asking like, you know, I'm not really totally understanding what the gist of chapter 5 is. Can you just give me like an idea of like what chapter 5 is all about? Like, what do you want me to get from that? Right. And then they may turn it on you and they say, well, what are you getting from it? You know, and then you just say, I'm just struggling. I need your input, right? I need your support. So those are all things that are, you know, it's like a little bit of stretch in terms of comfort. And I recognize all these things are hard, right? You know, like I said, the camera on, I know that's a tough thing. I know you may not always be in a place where you want to do it, but it's like something to stretch or strive towards. But the last one is like the big jump, and it's the one that I didn't get. And that is like, look for your intellectual passion. Well, that was a dramatic pause right there. That's like a teacher moment. Look for your intellectual passion because that's why we're here. We're not here just to get a degree. We're not here just to get a job because you're going to get a degree and you're going to get a job. What are you passionate about? The students that I know that do amazing things and they're things that they didn't even know that they were going to do are passionate about something. Like get a chance to meet Nicolas and find out about his work in his major. It's fascinating, and he is so excited about it and geeked out about it, and it's leading him to these really interesting places. So that's my quick answer to Elisa's question.
Thank you, Marcos, for sharing that. I think you really dropped a lot of wisdom and, you know, in your responses, you know, such as like adapting to virtual learning. This is something new, and going to office hours. You know, you had mentioned you didn't do it as an undergraduate, but you're sharing this because you've gone through that experience. And looking for your intellectual passion. Wow, that was mic drop right there. Dr. Pizarro, so thank you for sharing.
You know, and I'll just say, Elisa, sorry, it's hard for him to shut me up, but it's hard to find that, right? Like I didn't know what that was. I went in as an engineer and that lasted about 7 weeks, right? And then I thought, well, maybe I'm going to do sociology, and that lasted, you know, for a couple of months. And then I thought, and it changed over time, but I found it, right? It wasn't easy, but I found it, and it's been driving me ever since, you know, into really exciting things. And I love my job. And I love my job because I'm passionate about it.
Thank you, Dr. Pizarro. And your second question is, what advice do you have for faculty and staff wanting to support and develop deeper connections with Latinx students?
Okay, so this is where I'm teaching the teachers. Is that what you're saying?
Yes.
I mean, to me, it's just getting to know your students, right? Like the job of faculty is to build relationships with your students. That's why we're here. It's not to give them information. You know, it's like we want to build a relationship with you. And this is like, I come from Chicanx studies, right? So that's what we're doing. We're building relationships that we hope are going to last a lifetime. I always want to be in connection and community with my students. And when you do that, it makes a difference, because what we know for Latinx students in particular is that learning is seen as this like collective thing, as this community thing, as an opportunity to like have a relationship with somebody that leads to knowledge, that leads to opportunities, that leads to change to benefit our communities. If you can't recognize that, you're missing an opportunity for you as faculty as well. So build relationships. What are the 5 things? What are the 10 things that you need to know about each student, that you want to know about each student? Like, think about that. What are those 5 or 10 things that you need to know? Because my list is actually, I have a little sheet that I give students, and it's about 30 things long, right? That I want to know about students before I can engage them in class. So figure out what those 5 to 10 things are, and then think about how to translate that into academic success. What's the link between those things and academic success in your class and in your field, right? That's our job, is to find what our students are good at, what they are all about, and connect that to academic success in our fields. Like, we have to do that for them, especially for first generation college students. And I think the other thing is to care, right? Just to care about them, but not as students, right? To care about them as people, right? What I know from my students is, like, when I say, hey, Yesenia, how are you doing in that class? And she's struggling in that class, it feels like that's all I care about, is how she's doing in that class. When I ask Yesenia, how are you doing, right? How are you doing as a person, right? How's your family doing? How's your family managing this time? How are you doing, kind of like supporting your family and trying to pursue school? When I ask those questions, because I care about the answers to those questions, not because I'm, trying to make her feel better, just because I care, that makes a difference, right? It allows us to build a relationship that leads to opportunities for her to see herself here and to be engaged and to thrive as a student and to move to that next level of, like, what do I want to do next? Because I know that I belong here, right? So again, those are just like some quick shortcut things that I think about. And I'm always happy to talk to faculty more about how to do those things in class. So if anybody wants to hit me up, I can share my kind of like strategies for doing that work.
Thank you, Dr. Pizarro. I think you exemplify that model of, developing that relationship and cariño with our students. You are seen as a padrino at Centro because you have built those relationships with other students and staff and faculty, even at Centro. So thank you, Dr. Pizarro. The following question is going to be for Joey. Reflecting on your first semester at SJSU, what is something you would have liked to know more about?
Hi, everyone. As mentioned, my name is Joey Medina. I am second semester in the graduate program. So my emphasis is counseling and guidance. One thing I wish I would have known my first semester was how much of an impact community was going to play in my experience. I thought I was going to go into college, go to school, get things done, get out and work and do what I needed to do. I had this whole vision of myself, but I didn't envision how much of a role I would play within the community and how much a role the community would play for me. And I think one of the biggest things I took away from that is finding home within the community. And community is not about a place or a space or where we can find it. It's about the community that we have within ourselves and how we bring community into our own lives. It's about finding it. And I wish I would have known that my first semester, because it would have made my first year and the beginning of my college experience so much more enjoyable.
Thank you, Joey. I think that really resonated with me, that, you finding your home within community. And I think this is a great place to, start building that community or reaching out to folks that you meet today. Gracias, Joey. The following question is for Stephen. what resources have you used at SJSU to support your success?
Hey everybody, thank you Joey for sharing. Uh, being being pretty good at math, like writing wasn't always my strongest suit. So one of the first things I wanted to make sure is I wanted to make appointments with the writing center. So I feel like, especially when I first transferred here from a community college, I wanted to make sure I had all the resources available to me that would help me succeed. And I just loved that when I came to the writing center, it was just, they welcomed me with open arms. They were really able to break down sentence composition for me and really made it easy for me to absorb. Um, Another thing that I really did, so I've always been a really curious person. So I wanted to travel around, or like not travel, but explore San Jose a little bit. And so I didn't know how to do that, being in college, I'm kind of broke. So I didn't know like how I'm going to be able to explore the city. And then I found out that the associated students were doing they hand out like Smart Pass Clipper cards that give you free bus rides on the VTA. So I hopped on that really quick, got my VTA, my Smart Pass Clipper, and I was just able to go all over San Jose. Went to go see the Rose Garden in my first week here. It was really cool. And yeah, it was just another resource that I really used. Some of the other ones I used were the tutoring sessions and the tutoring, making tutoring sessions and the peer connections. They really helped me out. They helped me out with all of my classes. And I also applied for the Spartan Food Pantry. Once again, being a broke college student, I wanted to be able to minimize my cost, and the Spartan Food Pantry really helped me out. Food wasn't the thing I had to worry so much about because they gave me a lot of that. And it was really, really great to see all these resources that were valuable to me. I was really happy to know that there were all these individuals that wanted to see me and help me succeed.
Gracias, Stephen, for sharing the resources that you use to help you succeed during your journey here at San Jose State. And there are a lot of resources on campus, and I know it's difficult to navigate all of this virtually, especially. So I want to emphasize that you can always reach out to Centro to get connected to these different resources. And for the following question, I'm going to ask Brenda, what is it like moving to a new campus as a first-year student, and how did you find your sense of belonging?
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me. I'm glad to be here, even though it's virtually. Moving to San Jose, I live 2 hours away, home is 2 hours away from San Jose. And although that might not be that much compared to some folks that, move from LA all the way to San Jose, I felt homesick. So it was hard. I didn't know anybody from my high school or my city that was going to San Jose State. So that was just a really difficult journey. Also, being a first generation student, you don't always know how to navigate yourself. At least I personally didn't really know how to navigate myself. So that was difficult, but really what allowed me to feel welcomed and to feel comfortable at San Jose State University was really getting involved with Centro, just because the energy that Centro brings is very positive. We have Yesenia over here. She's always, got that energy. And I think that's something that really intrigues students to continue going to Centro because, we've got her every time that I would go to the Centro, she'd always always say hi, how are you? Always with that positive energy. And Lisa also really helped me because I'm a student who also stresses a lot. And so having this support system, this support network at Centro really allowed me to feel welcomed and comfortable at San Jose State University, just because my transition to San Jose State University as a first year was difficult because I was homesick, but I'm glad to be here. So thank you.
Yes, Brenda, something that resonated with me was that you did, ask for help when you needed it. So that's kind of the theme that I got from what you were sharing. Thank you, Brenda. For the following question, we have Stephen. What was your experience like transferring to San Jose State, and how has your experience at San Jose State been similar or different to community college? The last part to that long question is what resources have you acquired to get support in your major and career goals as a transfer student?
It was simpler than I imagined. For some reason, being at a community college, I had this unknown thought that like I needed to get so many classes done, so many requirements to fill out before I could even try to apply to San Jose State. And it wasn't until I had a friend who told me to speak to a San Jose representative who was on campus. And I was like, oh no, I probably don't meet any of the requirements. I probably won't have anything done yet to probably transfer. They're like, oh, it doesn't hurt to just talk, in general, just to get information about the campus. And so I did. And then funny thing about it was that I had met my requirements like a semester prior to that. So I was eligible to transfer already. So I was really happy about that. I'm grateful. One of the things that were similar to both to my community college and San Jose State is I come from Diablo Valley College. That's in Concord, California. Shout out to my DVC transfers. Yeah, so one thing I really found similar between both of them is that I was able to find, like Brenda said, I was able to find a home from home. And just like Joey said as well, it's important to have that community because it's not just what you can do for the community, but what the community can do for you. It's always a two-way street. And you'd be surprised to find out just how much of an impact even being around people, being around these people, building these great relationships, how deep of an impact they'll have on you and your passion and your goals. And so I'm still grateful, I'm grateful that I'm able to continue building these great relationships with people at San Jose State. And I believe Centro had a big central role in that. Yeah, I was a bit nervous transferring to San Jose State, just being, brand new to the campus, not knowing anybody. And I believe it was through one of the Ojo E letters that I saw a club, a Latino club, and I was like, oh, I'll check this out. And I joined Solis, and then I joined another club, joined Mecha, and then I just started studying at El Centro all the time, and I was just able to surround myself with people that wanted to see me succeed, and I'm eternally grateful for that. So I believe one of the greatest skills that I was able to build at San Jose State was my ability to network. And now I'm able to not just receive support from a lot of people, but I'm able to give back that support to them as well.
Gracias, Stephen, for sharing and sharing the importance of asking for help and networking. So thank you for sharing your story and wisdom. For the next question, we have Joey. If you can share your experience as a graduate student and how have you engaged with Centro? In addition, what would you suggest to other graduate students who are interested in engaging with Centro?
That's a loaded one. Okay. So for starters, my experience as a graduate student has been interesting. Connecting back to my first question, it was difficult to answer because my first semester and my first year at San Jose State was a few years ago, since I did do my undergraduate program there as well. So my experience with graduate school, I actually kind of got introduced to graduate school through the Centro. And I also did my application there working with Saul, and continued to make more and more connections to help me progress up into graduate school. Second part of that question?
Yes, the second part of the question is, what would you suggest to other graduate students who are interested in engaging with Centro?
Got it. I definitely say take advantage of the space and the opportunities that are provided, and network as much as you can, especially if it's your first semester at the university. there's so much that you can learn from the individuals that participate at the Centro, especially the undergraduate students, because we are everywhere. As an undergraduate student, I know I was everywhere. And there, you can make so many connections inside and outside of Centro because of the individuals you meet there, and utilize them. Till this day, I still have connections from the Centro that I check in with, and it's a community, and that community will follow you. So build it up and utilize it, because we're all here for one another, and whether we want to accept it or not, we need one another.
Thank you, Joey. And for the next question, we do have something for Brenda. How did you get involved with Centro?
I got involved with Centro because, as mentioned before, I did feel like very homesick when I first got to San Jose State University. So I kind of attended a lot of like the tabling events, and Centro was there. Once I did get involved with Centro, I stayed there just because of the energy and the community that Centro really, embraces. And another reason that I really like Centro and the partnership that they have, I'm a Chicano Studies minor, and what I really like about that department is awesome, but like it really connects with the Centro, and I really do appreciate the fact that faculty and professors within that department have always been at the Centro and talked to their students. As Dr. Marcos Pizarro has mentioned, it is important for faculty to know their students and to create that relationship. And so it was just really important to see that, because I don't know, I never really experienced that before. And it was just a very welcoming space, and that's something that really has kept me there. But I first, got involved with the Centro because, I kind of went to all the tabling events, and everybody there, even when I went to their tabling events, the people that were there were just very nice, very kind, very welcoming. And that's that is the reason why I just kept going. And it's really a community. So I'm really glad that Centro's there. And it sucks that, if we have first years on here that, you probably won't go to Centro this semester or anything like that. But I really do encourage you to get involved with Centro virtually, because these people really care. They are truly amazing, and they really care about you. So I 100% love, and, I'm grateful for Centro.
Thanks for sharing, Brenda. I know you really allude to the, again, like everybody had already mentioned kind of in the responses, of the importance of asking for help. And, aquí estamos para servirles. We're here to serve you and respond to you. And for the last question of the panel, in what capacity have you engaged with Centro programs, events, and services? And this is for Stephen.
So one of the first things I remember going to about El Centro, I'm not sure if it was actually, it might have been a collaboration with El Centro, but I remember it was an open mic event, and I saw Nicolas emceeing the event, and that was the first time, and he really caught my attention because he had a lot of good jokes, and I was like, wow, this is a cool guy. I need to see where he's at, So yeah, that was one of the first events where I was like, I need to check this space out. And the second one, or another one that I attended, was I was going to attend a scholarship workshop. So I'm always looking, for another way to get a scholarship. And once I got there, I realized that it was somebody I already knew. It was a scholarship that I was already a recipient for, the Latinos in Tech. And so it was just good to see a familiar face helping out and being at San Jose State as well. But I would say the number one way I was attending in Centro was just that physical space, or that, sometimes I'd be at my house, or where I would stay at. I'd be studying, and I'd be suffering in silence. I'd just be I can't think, I can't write well. I couldn't get my mind straight. And then just being in that space, or it's midterm season and seeing other students struggling too, or just going through it with me, it helped put my mind at ease. I was just like, oh, okay, I'm not the only one, having to go through this at this moment. And so, yeah, I just, all the spaces that they offered, everything that they offered, I'm just really happy and grateful for.
Thank you, Stephen. And I would also like to thank all of our panelists, Dr. Pizarro, Brenda, Joey, and Stephen too, for sharing, your own experiences with Centro. And a lot of you, again, just emphasize the importance of asking for help and reaching out. And Centro is one of those one-stop shops where you can email us or, come to one of our events and ask for help. And we will follow up with you to ensure that your questions are answered. I do want to acknowledge that the experiences shared by our panelists might be different than your own, given that, a lot of the engagement that you're doing with school and, on campus is virtually. But in the end, Centro is here to support you and answer questions that you might have. And so, again, I do want to reiterate to reach out for help when you need it. Aquí estamos to serve you. So, gracias.
All right. Thank you so much to all of our panelists. Thank you for the energy and thank you for the advice. Thank you for the experiences shared. I found great value, and it was really inspiring to hear all of the knowledge that you all shared. And so thank you all also for being here, being a part of this, sharing space with one another. Now we'd like to move on to our breakout rooms where you all get to also share a little bit about your experiences, but and get to know each other more. But before we move on to our conocimiento, we'd like to state some community agreements. So we'd start off with what is shared stays and what is learned leaves. Be curious and respectful. Take space, make space, and ask for what you need, offer where you can. So we will all be divided into different breakout rooms, and we will have about 15 minutes to share a little bit about us, get connected, and we'll be back around 6:15. So thank you.
Elisa, if we can just share the next page for the questions. And Nicolas will be introducing these for us.
Oh, hey everybody, how's it going? So just a friendly reminder, this is a community building activity and we will be broken into rooms. You will each answer questions 1, 2, 3. Question 4 is to be answered only if you have enough time. Faculty and staff can you please offer support as appropriate as you hear students answering question number 3. You will have 15 to 20 minutes. You will also see a 60-second warning when your time is up, and you will automatically be called back to the main room for our closing.
And the questions are in the chat box, so you're going to be leaving here in a couple seconds, and the questions will remain in your chat box for you to be able to answer the questions and have your conocimiento. So thank you, everybody, and you'll be back in about 15 minutes.
I wanted to debrief just a little bit with you all and kind of see what did you take away from this conocimiento and what are things that came up during your conversation. Feel free to unmute yourself if you would like, if you feel comfortable, or you can also drop any comments in the chat box down below, but I would love to hear, kind of what came out of these conocimiento questions with your group. Yeah, Sheila, you can go ahead.
So, I heard somebody else. Go ahead.
Okay, I was going to say just that I was in a group with that had all freshmen, and I just want to give a shout out to all the freshmen who are here, who had the courage to sign up for this event and say, hey, I'm going to try out something new. I think that says so much about you, your strength. You're already off to a good start here. Super proud of you. Like, awesome. Keep it up.
Thank you, Dr. Barrera. Anyone else, feel free to share.
Well, for me, I really loved being able to talk to others that are like, from the same culture, the Latinx culture. Just because, I feel like that was one thing I missed from San Jose State. So being able to have that opportunity right now was really cool. And what things came up was definitely that there's a few like me that are first generation. So it was pretty nice to meet others that are also going through the same struggles as you or have overcame it. So there's hope out there, people.
Gracias. And if you can introduce yourself as well so we can know who you are.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My name is Giovanni Hurtado.
Nice to meet you, Giovanni.
Nice to meet you too.
And we have folks on the chat box saying, yes, go new students, go first years. Dr. Pizarro, feeling like there's a focus in class on assignments and getting them done, but not necessarily on deeper learning and wanting Centro to support in that push. That's really great feedback and we're taking all of this in. Valerie said, I love the breakout rooms. We got to share great jokes, stories, and resources. Feel free to share any jokes with me, Valerie. And Selena, our comadre, our Centro comadre and CAPS liaison shared, yes, super great to hear from everyone and see the willingness to step up both from the staff and faculty and students. Aquí estamos. Hope we stay connected. So thank you all for sharing a little bit about your conocimiento breakout rooms. Before we go on to our next section, I will be introducing a video, or Nicolas will be introducing a video, but after that, we will be introducing how to stay connected to Centro, how you can get involved, and, so stay tuned. We will be taking a, showing something else. So.
Hey everybody, I would like to now present a video by Dr. Esteban Ascona. He is a professor of Chicano and Chicana Studies and is a Chicanx Latinx artist, arts and culture specialist. His research and teaching interests are Chicanx, Latinx music history and folklore, Latin American ethnomusicology, borderlands anthropology, and history. He is particularly interested in how ethnic Mexican music making and other public expressions of art and culture represent processes of cultural and of culture. Oh, sorry. Represent processes of culture and political change and exchange. His work has documented cultural history of Chicano movement, music making, and cross-border practices of Mexican regional and popular music traditions in the U.S. Without further ado, we will now be playing it.
Estoy disperso por medio de mi cantar, estando en este lugar tan hermoso y concurrido. Es el barrio, es el nido de esperanza y de ensueño, porque somos dueños de tanto que ha florecido. Son sus calles, sus hogares, callejones, sus esquinas, tantos niños, tantas niñas que conocen sus andares, igual madres que caminan el sendero, ama de casa o jornalero, esperando el porvenir de alegría y de sufrir. Son el pueblo verdadero, el hombre perdido, dolor de jornalero, desprecio de mujeres, angustia angustiada, el dolor dolido, el hombre olvidado, la mujer y el niño, todo pasará. Como máquina y su turbina, los del barrio a trabajar, a la pizca o a barbechar, la limpieza, la cocina, esperar chamba en la esquina, el subsuelo o en la cumbre, las ciudades sin certidumbre, pero el barrio sigue adelante con un fogón incesante y nosotros somos la lumbre. Yo me alegro a declarar, aquí se trata de vecino, no cada quien a su destino, sino juntos a luchar, a vivir también llorar, lo que daña el corazón, uno al otro darnos razón, de esto todos somos testigos, y por eso yo lo digo que del barrio es este son, el hombre perdido, dolor de jornalero, desprecio de mujeres, angustia angustiada, el dolor dolido, el hombre olvidado, la mujer y el niño, todo pasará.
And I know now that Dr. Ascona is here with us. Would you like to share a few words about this video? Thank you again for playing it and for sharing it with us.
Thank you to the Centro. Thank you, Nicolas. Thank you to the Centro for inviting me to share some of my music. This is something that I hold very dear. I don't get to do it as much as I like to. So thank you. As for this particular piece, it was a collaboration that we had with some friends of ours out of Iztale who originally wrote this song, Son del Barrio. So when we had a chance to do a recording of it, we changed it into a little bit of our own style, the influences that formed us. And so Alex Chavez, who some of us in our community know, he's an esteemed scholar. He's working at Notre Dame right now. So he wrote those decimas, really beautiful decimas. And so thinking of something to share with you all, I thought of this song. The vignette at the end, this was part of the original recording. There's an elaborate track in the middle. It has a lot of, it's a lot more lively, but I only had 5 minutes, so I had to figure out a way to make it all fit. So that music you heard at the end is a vignette, which is this instrumental genre out of the Sierra Gorda in Mexico. And it is absolutely gorgeous music. And I include it because it's part of the original recording. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed it. Thank you to everyone who shared really nice comments on the chat. And again, thank you to the Centro.
And for those of us, everybody that wanted to stay connected and stay involved, here we have our links. Follow us on YouTube, follow us on Facebook, follow us on our Instagram page. Elisa, can we post the link tree? Yeah, there we go. Edwin posted it. Thank you, Edwin. Edwin just posted our link tree. Has a link to everything. Please subscribe. Also, our videos will be, all of these events will be recorded. If you wanted to look back on something or you wanted to share a video with somebody. Also, our link tree includes our newsletter, our Ojo newsletter, which is sent out every Monday. So be on the lookout for that. And before we close it, on behalf of all my student success leaders, on behalf of the Centro, on behalf of San Jose State, I want to thank everybody for coming. I want to thank everybody for sharing. You know, it's not always the best. People aren't always comfortable with sharing. So everybody that did, I want to thank you. And we hope everybody has a great semester, has a great rest of your day. Si se puede, you know, keep it pushing.
bonitos son, con las 4 mujeres que bailan el montón. Colas, colas, colas y Nicolás, lo mucho que te quiero, no pago que me das. Si puedes, si quieres, si ya lo verás. Ay, qué bonito baila la mujer de Nicolás. Y este presidente es un escandaloso, le encanta la guerra y el dinero del petróleo. Y este presidente es un escandaloso, le encanta la guerra y el dinero del petróleo. Colas, colas, colas y Nicolás, lo mucho que te quiero, no pago que me das. Si puedes, si quieres, si ya lo verás. Ay, qué bonito vale la mujer de Nicolás.
Ah, Nicolás, las mujeres de Nicolás están bailando y tú no.
Por eso ya no quiero más querer. Adiós, adiós amigos, adiós bella mujer. Por eso ya no quiero más querer. Adiós, adiós amigos, adiós bella mujer. Colas, colas, colas y Nicolás, lo mucho que te quiero, no pago que me das. Si puedes, si quieres, si ya lo verás. Ay, qué bonito vale la mujer de Nicolás.
Sorry, I didn't mean to stop it, but I realized it was on repeat.
I was wondering, I'm like, Elisa, how long is this song?
I was like, I didn't recall. I mean, I guess.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much. Great job. We'll see you later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.
Have a good night.